What are the 5 things that I wish someone would have told me before I became a CEO? One, someone should have told me this business is all about math. When I say that, everything you do, money, has to do with math. I thought it was about my functional expertise. I was a marketing and analytics person. I created a business doing marketing and consulting. And my business partner and I set a goal to make 125,000 for the first year, which was an ordinary goal. But no one told us that we had to pay people. We had to pay our vendors, we had to pay our employees, and we had to pay the tax man, which is the biggest pay of all. And no one ever said that to us. Like, stop looking at revenue and sales. Look about how much you kept in the business. So we learned that valuable lesson right off the beginning. The second thing that no one told me about was that when I'm working in the business, that I was going to become obsolete at some point. When I started working on my business as a CEO, I stopped doing the marketing. 20 years later, I had to learn what a funnel was. I just didn't know that. So my marketing skills were not kept updated. And I was pretty much obsolete in the functional side. I knew how to do strategy, but I didn't know how to do marketing per se. I had to learn that all over again in my new business. The third thing I wish I had learned was that the hardest thing to do is fire someone or let someone go who's well liked, really good at their job, and really need the job. I had to do that. And the first time I had to do that was during the financial crisis when we had to cut people. And this particular person was so nice, so well liked, but her job itself could be picked up and done by anyone else. And that's actually what we wound up doing, giving that job to someone, but I had to let her go. I have to tell you, I'm not a crier, but I literally cried to let this person go. And it was such a difficult thing, and I'll never forget that. So I wish someone would have told me that before. Number four, I wish someone had told me that getting a loan doesn't mean that I need money. It's the reverse. My advisory board told me it was time for me to get a loan because my credit was good, we had money in the bank, and it was time to get a loan. I was like, no, we don't need a loan. And as women, I think we really hold ourselves back in that aspect because that is the perfect time to get a loan, is when your credit is good and you don't need the money, but you have it. So that was something I wish someone had sat me down and said, Sandy, start getting a loan as soon as you can, when your credit is good. And thank you to my advisory board because they taught me that lesson, that when you need a loan is when you probably won't get one because that's when you're desperate. And lastly, number 5, someone should have told me that the CEO doesn't always make the most amount of money. My salespeople were making more money than I was at one point. It took my business partner and I probably 2 or 3 years before we started pulling money out of the company because, we make sure everyone else was paid. We made sure our vendors were paid, our employees were paid, and we put ourselves last. So the CEO doesn't always make the most money. The way you make the money is when you sell your company, or if you want to sell your company. But that's when the money comes in. So I wish someone would have told me these 5 things.